Mr. Delgado. Thank you for meeting with me for your post-observation. Thank you for making time early so we could watch the video ahead of time together as a team. And then today what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go over like what we saw in the lesson and maybe look at some areas that we can get better at, maybe some things that we had as strengths and some weaknesses.
Sounds good.
I really, first of all, want to tell you I enjoyed watching your lesson. It was really exciting to see those kids moving and such a large number of kids being active for such a long time. It was really exciting to see.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You seem to have a really positive relationship with many of your students. I noticed in the video, and we talked about a little bit in the scripted lesson, the scripted notes, you have a strong rapport with your students, and it's very obvious. I really liked how you talked to one student. It was about halfway through your lesson about his cross-country meet, and he seemed to really enjoy that conversation, and you seem to have very good rapport with him. What do you do for students that maybe aren't as physically active or maybe aren't as engaged in your class to build rapport?
You definitely want to point out things that are positive for them, whether it happened in your class or if it's something different that you might see it on their t-shirt or their hat or their backpack or whatever, just something like that, and you want to point it out to them because it's obviously important to them, and that's how you build that relationship. And then next thing you know, kind of they enjoy your class and they give you a little bit more during class. So
yeah, that's very cool. Like finding things that maybe aren't necessarily linked to your class, but something that you could build a common ground on.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I could tell that your students really like you and they seem to be very comfortable with you. In our pre-observation, we talked a little bit about what teaching standards you're going to focus on, and the two that you pointed out were 4.4, where you modify instruction based on students' needs, and 2.1, which is creating a physical environment that is engaging for all students. I really felt like you did a great job on both of these. Every single student in the class was active, which is very cool for me to see because I'm used to seeing a couple kids who maybe aren't as engaged, but you had every single student engaged the entire time. I saw you make modifications numerous times, and I actually highlighted them right here in the scripted notes every time I saw you make a modification. And as you can see, almost every page has some modification that you've made because your classes are so large, but you did a great job of modifying for students' needs. When you make those modifications, do you feel like it helps the students be successful in your class?
I definitely feel like it helps them for that moment in that class. I know it helps them maybe on a short term. I do have concerns in regards to long term, because if I keep, cutting them short, just to help them out, what's going to happen when when we're trying to meet the state standards, how much farther behind? And most students can build on it, but there are some students that will struggle with that, and that's just one of the things that I definitely want to try to, do. But the good thing is during the lesson, nobody falls behind.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, sometimes they look around and all of a sudden they realize they're way behind everybody else, and then now they're not doing anything.
So you think it probably helps keep them more physically engaged because they feel like they're on point with their peers?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you make your modifications for your PE standards, do you feel like the modifications that you make are the appropriate building blocks for the students to make the successful transition?
I do. I absolutely feel like they're the right ones. I feel that, again, it kind of goes back to what we just talked about in regards to it helps them stay up with the rest of the class, and it feels like they have accomplished something, which they have. It meets their needs.
And what I liked is a lot of your modifications seemed to be building blocks, so it was like, okay, if you can't do it this way, here's a modification you could use, and you could tell that they felt you could see their confidence go up when they started to do the modification.
Right.
And I'm sure that helps open the door for when they're transitioning to do maybe the full exercise without modification.
Right.
So you could really see their confidence levels go up.
Right. In fact, there's a lot of times you can tell the kids to do something different, and they come up with what it is, so they're already in tune with that. So
yeah, that's very
pretty
cool.
nice, yeah.
I actually noted in here, I really liked how one of your students at the beginning of class, she came up because she was hurt and she couldn't do everything, but she actually was the one that told you what she could do, and I liked how she took the ownership of that, and I could tell you created that environment.
That's exactly it.
Really cool. Do you think the environment that you created engages all students in a way that helps them meet the PE standards?
I do. I think, actively participate in all the different workouts. I think it helps build their fitness capacity. That workout especially touches base on all of them. So, I think without a doubt, I think it definitely, engages everybody, and everybody's meeting what they need to meet.
Yeah, and I know we were talking a little bit about the PE standards and kind of what the state's looking for, and after talking about that and watching the video, it really was evident that you practice every single thing that they're going to need.
Right.
Yeah. After watching the video, what are your overall thoughts about the lesson?
I feel it was successful. I think the kids respond really well to the workout. They're familiar with it. We're building on things that they already know. We definitely touch base on all 6 areas of what the fitness test is going to look like. So I think it's a great workout, especially the fact that nobody is sitting out not doing anything. So, there are some things that we could make changes to, but overall I do feel it was successful.
What's something that maybe you'll try to improve or change for next time?
I think it's the grouping.
Yeah.
I think the grouping would do a little bit, would help the kids more. And I know how much we want to differentiate top-notch students with other students, but I think with this type of workout, it's nice if everybody was kind of on the same level in that group, because they would definitely
kind of challenge
challenge each other, and I think they would feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely a class where feeling comfortable can make or break their experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I really like that everyone in your class seems to feel comfortable. That's very cool. As we talked about a little bit in our pre-observation, mostly at this school, the population is a lot of English language learners, and a lot of our students actually have a Hispanic background. I noticed on your cards that they did have visual examples along with written instructions. Is there something that you think you could do differently to maybe help accommodate the English learners a little bit more or make them more successful in your class?
I always kind of struggle with that, excuse me, because they do see it, they get it in 3 different ways. They read it, they see it, and then they get to actually do it and watch and work with their peers. But I think the reading part and the correlation to what those words are to what the action is, I think if we had it in their native language, which around here would be Spanish, would be the primary thing, I think it would be helpful. It's something I think I should probably try.
Yeah, I could see how that could be helpful. It's really, it is a struggle sometimes to find different ways to integrate support for our English language learners, but it is definitely essential, and especially when they're at high school level, it definitely becomes a time where you really want to build those skills for them before they go out into the real world. Right,
and the level that they're at in their native language is always, it varies too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
it could be
we put up something, that a little bit higher academic, I don't know if that helps them.
Yeah, because you don't know what their educational background is, their native language, totally. Overall, I was very impressed with your lesson. I know something you asked me to watch for in our pre-observation was how you circulate the room. And I was impressed because I felt like you talked to every single student, at least at some point in the lesson. You talked to everybody, and that's 45 kids. It's a large class. And after watching the video, it was impressive to see how much you were able to check in with students visually. And I know we talked about how your class is a lot of a quick visual, informal check-in, and then you kind of make corrections. And I was impressed as to how you can do that for 45 kids and successfully do that with 45 kids in such a short period of time. But you can tell that they all trust you and they trust your class and they feel safe in this environment, which is so important, especially now with so many kids experiencing trauma. It's so important for them to feel comfortable because not a single kid wanted to sit out. They all were engaged. So I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Looking at it from that standpoint.
Very cool. I know we've talked a little bit about the different opportunities to get involved in the professional community for PE teachers, and since our school's so small, it's kind of hard to get a big group together. But I was looking online and I saw that CAPERD is offering a conference in February. And in that conference, they're doing a breakout session on functional fitness, which seems to align right in with what your goals are for this class of teaching them things that they can transition to throughout high school. Once they're out of high school, they can still do. And it seems like a great opportunity. Is that something you'd ever be interested in attending?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always into doing conferences of some sort. It's, as much as you think you know and you've seen, it's always neat to get other people's ideas and to see professionally what people are doing out there, and anything to help us out,
Yeah, it
that
is
would
always
be great.
cool to see what other people are doing. There's definitely some great people out there, and I was looking at the website, and it looks like they really do pack it full with a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah,
So definitely something we could look into because it definitely would benefit everyone. But I wanted to thank you for letting me see your class. It was really exciting to see kids in that type of environment and to see them so active, and I really appreciate
Glad
your
to help.
time.
Yeah.
if there's anything else you ever want me to come see, I would really love to come back and visit your class again sometime.
Absolutely, door's always open.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.